Yeah, you'll get to know me real quick, Karen, because I'm just crazy.
Okay, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. We are live now, and we're back with another Summer Series chat. I'm so excited to bring a new guest to you, and that is Karen Leabo. She has a channel here on YouTube, and it is Dirty Girl. I believe is the full name, right, Karen?
I think it's Digging Dirty Girl. No, that's my email. Dirty Girl. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Isn't that the saddest thing? It might be.
That's
You know what it is? It's my name. My channel is my name. But the that I do.
We're gonna link it in the description.
Yeah, I'll have it in the chat.
And we'll be dropping it in the chat. So she's a real vintage maven sort, and I'm very, very interested in picking her brain about what she does. But first, I'm going to introduce to you my co-executive producer here, actually my executive producer, and she's a content creator as well, and that's Kelly. And if you haven't subscribed to her channel, she'll be dropping her link as well, because she has an excellent channel as well. So Kelly, take it.
Hi, everybody. It's Kelly, a.k.a. Hip Flippin' Mama. Got a top-rated eBay store, and I'm a mother and a grandmother and a pet owner and just a wonderful, loving person. And you really want to subscribe to my YouTube because I'm trying like the dickens to get to 1,000.
Okay, Kelly, are you done?
I'm done.
All right.
Nothing else.
A brief introduction from Karen, please, Karen. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi. So my name is Karen Leabo. I sell vintage mostly on Etsy, where my shop is Vintage Dazzle. I do have another shop on Etsy. I sell handmade, but never mind. We're not going to talk about that. I have a YouTube channel, which is my name, Karen Leabo, but the show that I do with my vintage hauls is called Digging with Dirty Girl. There's a long story behind how it got named that. A lot of people are like, why do you call yourself that? Well, I don't know, but you don't need to know. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. Karen, I think you call yourself that because you're always digging up treasure, don't you think?
Well, that's how I rationalize it. I actually started it was a metal detecting channel. I did metal detecting, but I'm not really doing that anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me, how long have you been selling on Etsy?
I have been on Etsy, I believe, since 2009. I started doing handmade, but gradually moved over to this, and that's kind of taken over. And but I've been really serious with it for maybe about 4 years, like really full time.
What kind of handmade did you start with?
I'm sorry, say again?
What kind of handmade items did you start selling on Etsy?
I was doing these little notebook necklaces. It was originally called Memo Paws, which I thought was hilarious, but then someone tried to sue me over the name. So anyway, but not selling those anymore. I'm doing more jewelry, collage, that kind of thing. Mosaics.
Yeah. That's interesting. I was talking to someone about lawsuits and things, and because I had the same problem when I was doing the bouquet brooches out of jewelry, out of the brooches, and someone also tried to say that they had a copyright on it. But my son's an attorney, and I wrote to him about it, and he wrote some letters and so forth. And what happened is they had a patent pending for it, or an application, but the process wasn't even started. So it can get a little messy over there on Etsy. I think Etsy has a lot of precautions on things like that, but it was okay. I wound up leaving that in. A whole bunch of people have rallied against trying to get it was the brooch bouquet name that they wanted to own, and that's kind of crazy. But anyway,
Yeah.
other than that, you do sell a lot of jewelry on there, and you said you had 2 stores still?
Yeah, but one's just the handmade, and it's very small. There's very few things in the handmade store. It's called Textiles. The link to it is in my YouTube channel if anybody's interested. But there's just a few things up there right now.
That sounds really cute. I like the idea. I like the idea of the necklaces. That sounds cute. I really would like to see one.
Yeah, but I don't have them anymore because I don't really have the space to do production on those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, everybody uses their phone anyway. So
yeah, that's true. But
there's a long story behind that. You don't even want to hear that. But anyway,
it's still cute. So now there's a big brouhaha. Now there's a big brouhaha over the taxes. Not the taxes. I'm sorry. Over the free shipping on Etsy. Did you always do free shipping? I know a lot of people that have always done free shipping there.
No,
or did you just start that?
I am not a fan of free shipping because I believe in transparency, and I think that you should tell what the price of the item is and how much the shipping is. And I always did calculated shipping, but I'm going to all free shipping now just because that just seems to be, you know, the way to do it to get your preferred position in search and that sort of thing. Etsy kind of pushing everybody to do it, so I'm doing it.
Yeah, and that's for things that are over a certain price, right? But you also do more than just jewelry, so that's going to be something you're going to have to think about. You do dishes and all kinds of.
Yeah, and I'm just, you know, I'm taking that into consideration when I price my items. I just have to. There's nothing else I can do.
Right.
You can't. The problem is you just put calculated shipping on heavy items because it's like any order over $35 is going to be free shipping. So it has to be.
So did you have
I don't know.
How much inventory do you have over at Etsy?
I have 1,000 items, I think, or maybe
gosh.
under 1,000. I have a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. I don't think I have more than 200 or 300. But so you'll have to go back there and manually do that on your.
I've done it on everything that's heavy, and then Etsy kind of automatically did everything that was priced over $5. And then I manually changed everything over that was heavy so I wouldn't get caught like I did on, I don't know if you watch any of my vlogs, you know, I got caught on a 12-pound box of dishes I had to ship for free. So, yeah. There are still a few things on my shop calculated.
Karen, there's a lot of comments in the chat about how people love your videos, and they're talking about the last 2 videos that you did, especially the video you put up this morning. Apparently, it's very good. I haven't had the chance to watch it yet. You have a lot of fans in the chat.
That's so nice to hear.
I love the way you do the vlog style, where you kind of just bring everything together, your sales and your finds, and then you even do updates. That's really, really very, very not only entertaining and fun to watch, but we get to learn a lot too. Where did you actually pick up your knowledge for jewelry and vintage items? Did you ever have an antique store? Did anyone in your family ever get into that kind of thing?
Well, my mother and I always shared that love of antiques. We used to go antiquing together, but I really not so much jewelry back then. But and then I had an antique store very briefly. It was, you know, at an antique mall in the 90s, and I don't know. I've just always loved, and believe me, when I started doing the Etsy shop, there's so much I didn't know. I just a crash course ever since then, trying to learn as much as I can. So, but I've just learned by doing. That's, you know, and there's still so much I don't know. It's never ending.
Yeah, I think it comes with experience as well. And do you do research online? Do you have books? And because there's just such an array of things that I've seen you pick up, things from Africa, Mexican things, clothing, jackets.
Well, I have to give some credit to my husband's family because they're all vintage jewelry and clothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have learned a lot from them too. And they've been downsizing, all of them. They're just giving me stuff to sell. So I've got a lot of books from them and a lot of from them also. So, but mostly I do a lot of research online and I also have books. So I do both.
Are you a traveler? Do you travel or your family?
My in-laws travel a lot. My two sisters-in-law usually take one exotic vacation a year, and they have been to Africa and all kinds of places, Asia. They went to Laos. And they pick all this stuff up. But I not as much as I used to, but I used to go quite a bit. I've been to like Bulgaria and places like that, but not so much shopping when I was doing that. So.
That's awesome. I think you learn a lot that way. Let me say hello to a couple of people in the chat. And guys, you will find the links to Kelly's channel as well as Karen's channel. Please subscribe to them. You're going to learn a lot if you haven't subscribed to either one. Do so. It looks like Yvonne is here. Hi, Yvonne at Thrifty Rich. Leticia Cinnamon. Lori. Thank you guys so much for being here. Be sure and hit that thumbs up. Pearl's Precious is here as well. And let me see who else popped in. It looks like Bougie Bear. April's here. Peachy Peachy. Jennifer Hayes. A lot of people that do what we do, and a lot of people are on Etsy as well. Many people are not on Etsy. Can you tell us, Karen, can you tell us what you prefer about Etsy over other platforms?
I think partly it's just that's where I started. So I'm familiar with it, but Etsy to me has always had more a boutique feel to it. I always feel like I have more personal connections with the shoppers I do on eBay, and admittedly that may just be not based on it's just something that I feel. But yeah, I think I just find it I find it easier for some reason. But also put some things on eBay when I want to put something up for auction. If I'm not sure of the value, I still go to eBay. So I like them both.
Yeah. It's interesting about platforms. They really have to have an ease for the user and for the seller. I think it's very easy for the user, but I find it a little bit more cumbersome mobily than it should be to list. And I've been on there over 10 years as well. But they're always changing things. How do you list? Do you list mobily or on your computer?
I do it on my computer. I find it hard to do things. Yeah. The only thing I use the app for is to find out if I have a sale, to get the little cha-ching because it's fun.
Right.
Karen,
I checked.
Got a fan of yours, Pamela Drain, that's looking for that amber brooch. She could not find it. She wants to know if you've sold it yet.
I sold it. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I didn't even get a chance to list it. It just, after I made the video, it sold immediately. So sorry.
Yeah, you have a strong presence on Instagram as well, even though you told me you were kind of on a fast with it. Is it because you were doing other things? Are you now on Pinterest? What are you doing?
Yeah. I just found it was taking a lot of time. And when I looked I look at my, what do you call it, statistics to see where shoppers are coming from. And I really wasn't getting very much from Instagram to my actual Etsy shop. So I will go back to it, but for right now, I'm kind of strapped for time. So I haven't been doing that. I'll go back to doing it. Yeah, because it's fun.
It is fun. It's a good way to get your name out there too. Sometimes we don't get all the return we want to. It is a good thing to always check your analytics as well. So that's good.
Analytics, that's the word.
Yeah. But your photography is really, really nice too. I really love your pictures. I mean, every time I see a ring, I do go check your shop. Half the time it's already sold. What do you use for your pictures? Your phone?
No, I have a Nikon Coolpix camera, and I use that for my videos as well. But the one drawback in doing selfies with that camera, you cannot see the screen. So that's the only drawback. Otherwise, I love that camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me say hello to a couple more people that popped in, guys. We have Lucy, we have Lydia at Purple Lily, Pamela Drain, Donatella, how are you? Kay, Dallas, and Maury, Lori Reeves. Guys, I really appreciate you spending a little time with us. We're trying to have as many of these chats as we can before I get back to work and trying to work in some schedules. So I hope you're enjoying them. Give me a thumbs up if you are. Jennifer Hayes, I think I said hello to you. If not, thank you so much for being here. I also have to ask you, you are in California, right? North or Southern California?
I'm in Southern California.
Okay, because I see you pick up a lot of Mexican items, a lot of very interesting vintage items. What do you think you find a lot of in your area, and where do you find them?
I think there's more Mexican silver and Native American jewelry here, certainly, than I ever saw in Texas. And because I used to live there. And I shop pretty much at the flea market is my main thing. We have lots of flea markets here. Just the weather makes it year round. So
yeah.
So that's where I find a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I was talking to Perla in one of our shows, and she does a lot. She also talked about farmers markets and things like that. And then we follow a few other people that do the flea market circuit. Are you lucky enough to have those old-fashioned flea markets where it's kind of like a garage sale and antiques and not all the imports? Because we seem to be infested with that here in Houston.
Yeah, the two flea markets that I go to, you are restricted to selling only vintage. So they let the few people they let in, like for some reason they let in the African sellers that sell all it's new, it's cool African stuff. They let those people in. They let a few other people in, but it's not vintage. So you don't have a lot of junk.
Could you have accidentally turned off your camera, Karen? Because I don't see your pretty face anymore. I just see your pretty.
There now.
Oh, you're kidding.
When you're talking, Karen, you cannot see your face. When you stop talking, we can see your face in the little box. We want to see your beautiful face big.
Yeah, I have it says there's an error loading your app, and I'm terrified to touch it. I know it's going to cut off.
You can exit out, Karen, and then just come back in with the same link.
Okay, yeah, she can turn it off and then come back, and we'll say hello to a couple more people.
Yeah, go ahead and close down. Go ahead and close down, and then come back in with the same link. And we'll talk about you while you're gone.
Yeah, we'll just say hello in the chat to some people that popped in. Walt is there. Kelly, you want to say hi to a couple of your friends in the chat?
Hello, Perla. Hello, Leticia. Hi, Walta. Hey, April. Patricia White, thank you for coming. Cinnamon. Cinnamon always leaves a good taste in my mouth. Hi, Jen Hayes. The very healthy and wonderful Jen Hayes. Inside joke.
Uh-oh.
Howdy, Gypsy.
Nana's Treasures.
Cherry, thank you for coming.
Kathleen Crafts.
Called her Cherry. It's supposed to be Sherry.
Okay.
It's spelled like, yeah.
I don't see it.
She's picking treasures.
Picking treasures. Okay, La Vintage Gypsy is there. If you guys have any questions for Karen, put them in caps or highlights so that Kelly can see them.
Yep.
And
she has a lot of really vintage jewelry, similar to what Angie Vintage Discoveries does, and bakelite and everything like that. So if you've got questions in regards to those items, shoot it at her. She can tell bakelite by looking at it. So she's very knowledgeable.
She's back. Yay. So
there she is.
Thank you We're coming
Okay, am
back
I
nice
showing
and
now?
clear there. Yes, yes,
good.
there you are. And you were telling us about how lucky you are to have those fabulous flea markets in California. And I agree with you. You do find a lot. I've seen you find so much Mexican sterling silver items and vintage items that they're kind of rare here. I used to find a lot of them at the antique malls or stores that I would frequent, but at flea markets and things, it's so hot here, I barely want to go unless it's October or something. But I've also noticed there was a big surge in Mexican jewelry, but I think maybe 10, 15 years ago where it was outrageous. Were you lucky enough to get in on that boon, Karen?
Can you hear us, Karen?
Is she frozen? I think she's frozen.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, I don't think she can hear us, guys. Well, let me put that out there for the chat question. Did anybody ever take advantage of that big boom that there was in Mexican sterling silver jewelry? There was a big, big surge in it. I don't know if it was around the time that there was a lot of talk about Frida Kahlo and the kind of jewelry that she wore. Let us know in the chat if you experienced any of that. I know I did. And let's see what happened to Karen. Maybe she'll come back again.
10 years ago, I wasn't really into silver. I didn't really know, like that necklace that you have that you bought for me, I probably bought 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't even know it was 925. I was oblivious to 925. I was all 14 karat gold back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I was oblivious to the Mexican scene.
What necklace did I buy from you, Kelly? I forgot.
The diamond one.
Which one?
The diamond.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The opening.
I didn't know that was Mexican.
No, it's not Mexican. No, it's not Mexican. No, I was just saying that was my first foray into 925. The first piece of 925 I ever had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it was 925 when I bought it. I just thought it was, silver toned.
Oh, really?
And I wondered why it never turned my neck or I never turned it, And it was because it was 925. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, I was oblivious to anything that wasn't gold, you know what I mean, at the time.
How about anybody in the chat? Did you guys ever take advantage of that kind of jewelry? I did. I just really gravitated towards it when I found it because you could find it really cheap. And then you could sell it. I mean, $400 for a bracelet, like one of those charm bracelets, was nothing. They were going really, really high. And I think that's when they started disappearing off the flea market circuits and things because people were just really catching up with it.
I think Dia's been collecting for 10 years.
Who?
Dia. So she probably got in at the end of it.
Yeah, and the alpaca, yeah, that's that. But I'm talking more like the really, like this that I just found. I wish this was sterling silver.
Yeah.
The one with the motifs for the the pre-Hispanic motifs, the indigenous motifs, that kind of thing. I couldn't tell whether that was Indian or, I mean.
April says that she always picks up Mexican and native pieces.
Yeah, especially the big bulky pieces. I don't know. They're just, and then of course, if you get lucky enough to pick up a spratling or something, that would be wonderful.
I'm trying to get Gianna to do a video describing the difference.
Yay!
There she is. Describing the differences between Southwestern jewelry and Native American jewelry. Because a lot of people mistake Southwestern jewelry as Native, and it's not.
Yeah, and well, it's all gone through a metamorphosis too, I think, because a lot of it has become into a cottage industry as well. And like I was very disappointed with Native American jewelry I bought not too long ago that was really flimsy. And that's why people harken back to the 70s jewelry, the 40s, 50s, where it was really craftsmanship. It wasn't about tourist things, just buy.
Same with the purses. Everything back in that
Let me let Karen speak to that. Karen, how do you decipher something that's really worthy of your time and something that is just made, just flimsily? And I've seen it in the Native American jewelry, and I've seen it in the Mexican industry as well. What have you found, Karen?
Yeah, I always.
Can you hear me, Karen?
I look at it. Oh, I can. Can you hear me? Oh,
yes.
Can't hear me. You can?
Yes.
You can. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm having these technical issues, but I'm afraid to touch it again because it keeps cutting out. So yeah, the first thing I look at is the workmanship, is like how heavy it is, how well made it is. I look at that before I look at a name on how something is made. Yeah, basically I look at the materials and how it's made, and if it looks sturdy and heavy and clean and nice, that's going to be, a priority.
Yeah.
When I buy jewelry.
Yeah, because I've been very disappointed with things that I've picked up on eBay, and they may say they're Native American, and I believe they are, but they've gotten to where it's more like a fast production, and I think that's why the older still get much more money, because people can see that. They can see that it's dyed turquoise, stabilized. I know that that's necessary for a lot of turquoise because it's a soft material and all of that, but they can see the difference in that. And I forgot what I was asking about the flea market school. Did you ever catch on in that wave, which I think it's still there, for the really authentic, heavy, beautiful Mexican and turquoise Native American things? But the Mexican surge, I think it was during the Frida Kahlo craze, where people started discovering Frida Kahlo and how she wore the indigenous jewelry. Were you in on that kind of a business?
Oh no.
I'm sorry. My computer is cutting out, and I only heard about half. I'm sorry. I think it's
my questions are
back
long
now.
That's okay.
I don't usually have these problems. This is terrible. Yeah, I do think there's definitely there's more of a craze for anything that's indigenous, or I just think it's definitely hotter now than it's ever been. But and again, I didn't hear the whole question.
There was like a big craze where it was really garnering big money. Do you see that that's still the case, or have you had to lower your prices because, like anything, crazy come and go?
No, I think the prices are holding steady for good quality. They are for me, for good quality Mexican and Native American jewelry.
Yeah, and also in pottery. Remember the plates? I think they started realizing you can't really eat off of the ones because they have that toxin. But they're beautiful, and people display them. That was another thing. I had collected a lot. Then I was afraid to sell it. What did you run into?
I honestly haven't dealt a whole lot in pottery. I've sold a few pieces recently, but so I can't really speak to that because I'm not that familiar with the market on the pottery. Okay.
No,
but I sell it.
So. Yeah, I think it's still collectible. And another thing I wanted to ask you is your pricing. It seems like a lot of people don't know where to start with anything they pick up, whether it's jewelry, whether it's pottery, glassware, and they ask a lot of people, or they go onto a Facebook group. Do you have a Facebook group that you like, or do you just rely on your own research?
I pretty much rely on my own research. I have WorthPoint. I subscribe to WorthPoint, which I think is a really good. It is $20 a month, so it's kind of pricey, but it's really good for looking at historical sales of things on eBay. And and usually, I mean, sometimes the prices are all over the place. Sometimes there's just such a huge range, and I try to be either middle of the road, or sometimes if I just look at something and I say, I think this is worth it's worth more than I'm seeing that it's sold for in the past.
Mhm.
I'll just put the price on it that I think it's worth.
That leads
Pricing
to
is one of
a
those things that's
question
more
that
art
we.
than
I'm sorry, honey. It leads to a question we have in our chat from
oh, go
Pearly
ahead.
Precious, who asks, "How do you price your vintage items and jewelry?" Which, I mean, do you rely specifically on Worth Point?
No, I look at WorthPoint, eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, and sometimes I just Google things, look at First Dibs. I look at any marketplace that's out there if I can find similar items, at least for, that artist or whatever. And then you just kind of see what's sold and just pick a number. I mean, sometimes you just have to guess. And I know sometimes I sell things for too low. I know it happens.
Mhm.
And that sometimes I price things too high and they don't sell. So
Yeah.
it happens.
We've also got a hello in the chat from Muffin.
Oh, Muffin did I think she photobombed a minute ago.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Excuse me.
She's right here under my chair. Here she is.
Aww.
Little cutie.
Aww.
She's my good girl.
She's a pretty Persian.
Is that
Movie star Muffin. What?
Kelly?
What's that?
Did you say something?
I said that's a pretty Persian.
Oh, it's Persian. Okay. I thought it was Himalayan. I don't know.
No, she's not either. She's a ragamuffin.
See, we don't know.
Oh. Well, I'm more of a dog expert more than a cat expert, clearly.
She's beautiful, though. Let me ask you some more about jewelry, Karen. A lot of people talk about Monet and Napier and Kramer and all of these so-called vintage brands and vintage names. What do you absolutely not pick up, whether or not they have a name?
I don't think there's. I think I can't say there's anything that I absolutely won't pick up. I do when I'm looking at Napier and Monet and stuff. I look for the older. So if it's newer, like from the 1980s or 90s, I'm less likely to pick it up unless it's just something stunning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really like the mid-century with those designers.
And what is the logo you look for the older mid-century for Monet or Napier? How have they changed? Do you recall anything?
Well, I know that the Napier that's done like in the block letters rather than the script, that's older. And of course, you always look for if it doesn't have a copyright symbol, it's often earlier than 1955, and that's not 100% certain, but a lot of times it is. So that's one thing I look for. But you can sometimes just tell in the design of it whether it's old or not. The clasp.
Yes.
How it's
and
connected.
The Monet, I know there's a difference with the Monet between the capital M and then all caps for Monet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the all caps.
Do you find that the silver tone is as rare as we've been led to believe, or is that just a misconception?
The silver tone?
The silver tone in Napier or Monet especially.
Oh, no, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. I guess most of what I see is gold tone. Mm-hmm. I never really noticed.
So. Yeah.
Wow, I never thought about that. I've had several silver Napier pieces. I've never had a silver Monet, but I've had several silver Napier.
And I heard that rhinestones are rare in those kinds as well in Monet. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of rhinestones in Monet, but I guess sometimes necklaces. Trying to think. Mm-hmm. I guess that's more Trifari that has the rhinestones and necklaces.
What is your favorite brand? What brand, when you see, let's say you run into a table of jewelry and you start seeing certain names, which ones are really getting you excited these days?
I love Kramer of New York. That's one of my favorites. Kremitz, I like. trying to think. I'm not as good with the costume jewelry as I am with the silver. But if you can find like the old, those old names from the 40s that did, because a lot of times they did use sterling silver.
Mm.
One that I really have been finding lately is Danecraft. It's sterling, but it is more mid-century, and those can sell for really good money. They're beautiful.
You speak about Danecraft, and I have one here handy because I've been showing this. Let me just show it to you real quick. This bracelet is really a big size, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've hesitated to list it. It's a Danecraft.
Yeah.
And it's sterling. It's got a safety chain, and the safety chain does not unhook, so I've never actually been able to measure it. But it also came with these earrings that match, and the pendant. Now I did add the chain. Didn't have a chain, but they pretty much all match. They're super heavy. I still don't even know if that's hematite. It's very, very heavy. I'm assuming the stone is where the weight comes in.
Oh, that's nice.
So this is a Danecraft, but I've showed it at one of my auctions. It hasn't sold yet, probably because it is a larger size. But I also noticed in some of your videos that you don't always know, like most of us, that we don't all know the stones. How do you list when you don't know a stone? Like, I don't know this one. I don't know if it's hematite. What do you suggest I would say?
I say, depending on how sure I am, I say possibly hematite. I'll just put it right in the title. Possibly, or probably, or maybe, or, you know, could be, depending on what my, you know, I figure as long as I'm letting people know that I really am not sure, that I think it's this, but I don't know for sure. That's as honest as I can get. So.
Yeah. And I think people are a little bit more, I don't know, I feel like on eBay you have to be like right on the money, or you're afraid of that return. You don't really look at that, do you, as much as I think some of us do over on eBay?
I get a lot of returns. Usually if I get a return, it's because something is the wrong size, like a ring doesn't fit or something like that. Usually.
Yeah.
So, and I try to, you know, I hate returns. I hate them so much. So I do my absolute best to show every possible flaw, describe every possible thing that anybody could object to, just so people know what they're getting.
Right. So you're liking Danecraft now, and you're running into it.
Yeah, I mean, I always pick it up now and again. I just got a piece. In fact, let's see, is this it? No, let me find it. Oh, this one. Now, I know my picture's not showing up big, but maybe you can see it.
It is. It is.
Ooh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, I just got that one.
That is really pretty.
I'm not even sure what I paid for it because it was in a big lot that I bought, but I paid quite a bit, like $30 probably for that I paid.
Karen, where do you pick up your best pieces?
I've been getting my best pieces. There's one buyer that I buy from at the flea market that's been, he knows what I like, and he knows I'm there every month. And so he puts aside some the good native and Mexican pieces and puts them aside for me.
Nice.
Because he knows I'll get there early, and then he charges me a lot for them. But he knows his stuff, and he knows pretty much what I can sell stuff for online. So I end up paying him a lot, but it's like where I get the really nice stuff. And I think, you know, even if I don't make as much of a profit on those, they dress up the shop. They make it look nice. You know, they look nice. Photographs on the home. I like to have really good pieces. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome. That's really great when you can have a relationship like that with, you know, for sourcing. That's amazing. You say address the shop. You think that there's still going to be a personalization? I've seen some videos, and I haven't seen any changes yet to my store, but I know that you curated immensely. Do you think that this new policy that supposedly they're doing on Etsy is going to hinder that in any way?
I hope not. I guess we'll find out what happens.
Yeah.
My, since my sales have actually been very good the last couple of weeks since I switched to free shipping. So I don't know if that's, sales go up and down. I can't really tell for sure, but they've been really good for mid-July for sure. So,
well, that's what they're, yeah, that's what they're saying, that you are going to get a boost in that algorithm. Kelly,
I hope so.
I think, Kelly, there's a question from Jill. Would you read it for us for Karen?
How much less is the value of a stone that has a hairline crack if it's only in the back? Let's say if it's a designer piece and it is authentic sterling or gold. How much does that decrease the value?
I think if you can't see it, if you can't see it on the front and the stone is stable, probably not that much. I might take off 20% for that. Something. I mean, that's just ballpark. I don't know, but yeah, a lot of times I will buy things that have cracks in them just if I love the piece anyway, and they sell. They'll sell.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way, especially with the softer stones like amethyst or something. If it's a cabochon, you might see a little crack on there, but the piece is so wonderfully executed with sterling, and you just can't leave that behind. I mean, that's the way I feel.
Yeah, I sold a Victorian piece not long ago. It was a pendant with just the silver work on it was so beautiful. I had to buy it, even though it had a huge chip in the stone. And it sold right away. I priced it accordingly, and it's sold right away.
Kate Dallas is suggesting to you, Karen, that you may be able to avoid returns if you issue the statement on eBay that this is untested but appears to be, and then list whatever you believe it should be.
I really, I hardly ever sell jewelry on eBay. I mostly do that on Etsy. But yeah, I do have a gem tester, and I test my silver and I test whatever I can. So because I like to be able to validate.
You said yes. You said you put certain things on eBay for auction. What exactly do you put on eBay?
It's usually the really weird, one-of-a-kind things that I just can't even find any similar things online, but I just have a suspicion, like some weird things I've sold, like an antique spur, and I just sold it was an old bell from a boxing ring that just sold for like $100.
Kelly's a boxing fan.
My heart just skipped a beat.
What?
I'm an enormous boxing fan. Boxing fan. And you said, I just sold a bell from a boxing ring, and I went, I didn't even mean to. I've got an actual photograph of about 45 by 35 of Mike Tyson in my office wearing Rocky Balboa shorts.
So let us know when you get more boxing items. Let Kelly know he loves boxing.
Yeah, everyone's supposed to let me know.
Is there any more questions in the chat? Looks like Jude came in, and I think I said hello to almost everyone else who's come in, so I appreciate it. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to these two ladies. You will find their links dropped in the chat. Kelly's Kelly's almost at 1,000. She's putting her link in the chat as well. And of course, Miss Karen has a great following, but she can always use more subscribers, and you will love her channel. She has an amazing array of information. I love her vlog style video. I love when she tells us not only what she finds, but what she expects to get and what she finally got. So I love that information you're offering us, Miss Karen.
We need to talk about the bakelite haul.
Oh yeah,
you received in that eBay lot, because I just found my very first piece of bakelite, and I tested probably 50 bangles, and because I had a tremendous amount of them, found one bakelite, and it was like Christmas. How do you just know when you look at a piece that it's bakelite? Because you were looking at those bangles going, this is bakelite, this is bakelite, this is bakelite.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% correct either. All the butterscotch ones were bakelite. Some colors are easier to tell than others. The first thing to look for is, does it have a seam? Because if it has a mold seam, then it's not bakelite, because bakelite is carved. You look for carving marks on it. There's a sound that bakelite makes, and I was banging them together and I wasn't sure. I could tell.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a smell that it has, like you rub it with your thumb to heat it up and then smell it, and it smells like, to me, it smells kind of like burnt rubber or something. Other people said it smells like formaldehyde. I don't know.
What do you use to test your bakelite?
Oh, I use Simichrome. It's a metal polish,
Mm-hmm.
and you just put a tiny little bit on a Q-tip and rub it on there, and it starts out pink. And if it is bakelite, it's yellow.
See, I used 409 first, and that did not test positive.
I think both Simichrome and 409, I think maybe Fantastic works also, but I think they don't work well on red or black.
Yes, it's red.
Yeah. So you have to use other tests, red and black.
We have a question from Miss Bougie Bear. April for Miss Karen. Did you see that one, Kelly?
No.
It says, how did you build your customer base? Do you have a customer base on Etsy? Since you've been on there so long, it's fabulous. Karen.
I have, there are definitely some repeat customers that come back again and again, but I would say the vast majority of my sales are new customers. And I think that's because I don't sell the same thing again and again. Everything I sell is different, I probably could do a lot better building a repeat customer base in terms of, maybe a newsletter or something, but I've never done it, and I really probably should, but I do the type of marketing that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So, and I hate newsletters. So I don't do
that. How do you do your marketing in Etsy? What's the best way that you promote your items? Jill would like to know.
Yeah, I really the only promotion I do basically is, I do like Instagram sometimes, although as Thelma knows, I'm not doing it much these days. But mostly I've been doing the YouTube videos. And other than that, I'm not like paying for any kind of marketing. I just listing every single day is, I think, one of the very best things you can do, because it keeps you at the top of the search. Mm-hmm. Other than that, that's all I do. Marketing has never been my strong suit.
Yeah, I have found that too on Etsy, and I've been doing a A-lister show where I'm talking about how to boost your business a bit, strategies that people do, and so forth. And I definitely feel like if I ignore, and I do ignore Etsy a lot, I feel like I've put in stuff there, it's vintage, and sit back unless I find something, and then I'll put it in. But how do you manage to put something every day? You're absolutely right about Etsy. It needs love, or it's not going to give it.
Yeah. I buy a lot of stuff, and I get a lot of stuff from my in-laws too. And my rule is I try to do 4 listings a day, 2 jewelry and 2 non-jewelry. And that's kind of what I try for every day.
Yeah. And then you run sales. Is there a way to put an automatic sale on Etsy, or do you manually go in there for when you reduce prices?
I manually go in. I have a section of my sale that's sale items, which I think is probably empty at the moment because I haven't done it in a while. Like I said, I'm not good at marketing.
Yeah, I haven't learned how to do that. Like, I think there's a way that you can put like a clearance closet, for lack of a better word, like a clearance section, a sales section in Etsy. Is that correct?
Yeah, you have a certain number of sections. I'm not sure how many they are that you can, classify your items into. And if you just make sections a clearance or sales section, you can just tuck things in there.
Karen, Lori Reeves would like to know, do you put certain keywords in to bring in more customers? Like, what are your favorite keywords?
Yeah, I always use all the keywords that I have space for. I use retro jewelry, mid-century. I put in 1950s, 1960s, whatever decade it is. Obviously, Native American, tribal. Primitive, if that works. Let's see, what are some of my other ones? Tabby, Farmhouse, Cottage. Those are for non-jewelry, mostly. Rustic, folk art. Boho is a really good one. Yeah, the boho one has been working pretty well for me, I think. I've been using that for a while because that seems to be, I think a lot of what I sell is, kind of boho mix and match, chunky.
Yeah, definitely with the indigenous type of jewelry, and it's just kind of an eclectic mix is kind of what's taken over the boho look. I guess it used to be kind of like a Coachella hippie thing, but I think if you just throw everything in there that's not in gold tone or something would be boho.
Yeah, hippie's a good word too. I like that one.
Hippie, yeah, hippie dippy. But I gotta ask you a little bit about other things besides jewelry. Tell me about clothing, lingerie. What do you pick up there? Because you do sell that as well on Etsy, correct?
I do. Most of the clothing I get from my sister-in-law, and a lot of it is from Mexico and Guatemala because she lived there for a few years. So she's one of my sisters-in-law is she's really an expert on vintage textiles. And she has these fabulous rummage sales in Washington, D.C. And she picks up stuff for nothing. She said she just can't walk away from it. It's like, she can get this fabulous embroidery for $1.
Well, I need to
go. Just sends it all to me.
Yeah, I'm going to link your store here as well when we find it. If we can, when we find the link, we'll put it in here too, because those textiles are so sought after and very pricey in some places. When I visited Mexico City, we were able to go to Xochimilco, which has like this historic embroidery history, right? Beautiful dresses that they do, but they were selling them in the shops in Mexico City and Xochimilco for like $200, and they were worth every penny. In my opinion, they were worth every penny. These were handed beautiful items. So do you have things like that in your shop that we can go look at?
Yeah, I've been selling it though. I don't know how much is there right now, but yeah, I have a lot of ethnic embroidered blouses and dresses and things that some of it is stuff that my sisters-in-law bought when they lived there, like in the 80s. And a lot of it is stuff that she finds at these rummage sales for super, super cheap. And she just sends it to me. So I usually don't, if I see it, and it's a really good price, I buy it, but I usually don't deliberately shop for it just because I have so much of it from my sister.
And the Oaxacan, I think, is another one. I may have mixed up the cities. It's been a while since I've been and discovered and even saw some in the museums, in the art museums of Mexico City. Oh my gosh, they're so amazing. But again, there's a differentiation between the common thing you'll find at a grocery store here in Texas, where they're just selling quick little fashions with the embroidery, cheap cotton, and then the beautiful stuff that's done with wonderful, silk ribbons, all of that. So that's always a good thing to research as well. I love that. You also sell lingerie. Have you done well with lingerie or anything?
I haven't. I don't have a lot of lingerie. I did just sell a really nice Valerie Stevens silk slip, but yeah, I've only sold a few pieces really. I'm not real knowledgeable about lingerie.
What kind of stuff do you collect personally? Do you like to decorate your home with vintage items, or is there a certain era that you're attracted to for your own?
I love botanical prints. I have a lot of those on my wall. And bird prints. I love anything that's birds. I have to say, I have a very small house. So one of the things I love about what I do is that I get to buy things and own them for a while and then sell them, so I don't get too much junk in my house. I have an egg cup collection, and I used to have a vintage purse collection, but I've been selling it off because I don't really have any place to display it anymore.
Yeah.
So
that's wonderful. That's the fun of doing what we do, is that we do get to love things and curate them for a while and then let someone else have them especially when we have the confines of a smaller house. That's fabulous. Did you have any other items that you wanted to show us? Or are there any other questions in the chat, Kelly?
Yeah, there was just one question in regards to what the polish was called that we use to test the bakelite. I did put in the chat Simichrome polish, but I wanted to show everyone specifically what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can get it on eBay.
Yep, you can get it on eBay or Amazon.
And it also works for polishing silver and copper.
Any metal.
Mm-hmm. Any metal, but be careful with it.
Yeah. I've used it to clean silver tone, but you have to be careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Karen, did you have any other jewelry or anything you wanted to show us before we leave? Or if there's any other questions, pop them in before we say goodbye.
Yeah, I'll show you the one thing that I got at the flea market last Sunday that was my favorite. I don't know if you can see it. See it?
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
This is a Jose Anton Repousse silver and onyx.
Oh my gosh.
That is gorgeous.
Stones.
I don't want to tell you what I paid for it because I paid way too much. But I just fell in love with it.
I bet you didn't. I bet it's worth every dime and you're going to get some good money on that.
I hope so.
You should, because that's gorgeous. Is that onyx you said?
I think so. It's either onyx or obsidian. One of the corners I can see through.
Can you open it up and hold it close to the camera so everyone can goo and gaga over it again?
My webcam is not.
Oh, we can see it. We can see it. Just slow it down on the tip. There you go. Wowzy. Yeah, that's the kind
really heavy.
That's the kind of stuff that gives me goosebumps when I see that stuff.
How much are you selling it for, Karen?
I don't know yet. It's going to be probably at least $200.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I need to do more research.
No, that's gorgeous. I thought you were going to say 4, honestly.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say 4.
It's amazing, and that's fabulous that you find that kind of stuff at the flea markets. Like where you found that? Was it a jewelry specialist, or was it just thrown in a basket?
It was my guy. It was the guy I was telling you about that I buy from.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he's your
put it aside.
Yeah. That is so awesome. So again, guys, Karen Leabo has a wonderful channel here on YouTube. We've dropped her link. Kelly has a wonderful channel. We've dropped her link. Please subscribe to them. Don't forget to hit the bell to their videos. Watch their videos so that you can be notified when they put another video. If you continually answer that call when they let you know that they put up a video, they'll keep sending you notifications. But if you don't go watch the videos, they'll stop and you'll miss out on a lot. Because Miss Karen Leabo does us wonderful things. And Karen, we really do appreciate you being here. Kelly as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I apologize again for my technical issues.
Not
a problem.
Do you have any last words for anybody wanting to do Etsy or wanting to do what you do so well? Karen.
The one thing that I try to tell people is to sell the things that you love, because your passion will guide you on what to buy and how to sell and how to price. And your shop won't be like anybody else's if you just buy the things that you love.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice. And that's very, very true, because you can emulate a few things, but you can never duplicate what someone else is doing. And you can probably do something different better than anyone else. So that's very, very true. I appreciate that, Karen. And again, guys, all of the links to the channels will be in the description box. I'll also link her wonderful shop over on Etsy, where you will see more beautiful jewelry than I've ever seen. I'm so goo and gaga over it. It's amazing. Thank you again, guys. We'll see you next time. I hope to have another show for you very soon. Have a wonderful week.
Stay with us, Debbie.
Bye. Thank you so much, Kelly.